Hi guys, thanks for joining me on this tutorial today. I will share with you how I tackled this easy crochet shrug pattern for beginners. Now I'm putting it to the test and I decided I'll make a video of it so that if you're feeling brave you can join me. In the description box below you will see a link to the actual pattern where you will also find a list of all the supplies that you need to complete this garment. So for the body rectangle, you will chain the number of stitches as required for your size. I'm just chaining a few stitches here to show you the pattern. So for my size, I did the large or extra large size and I chained 128 stitches. So for row 1, you skip the first 5 chains and then you double crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. Did I mention that I was a beginner? This is my first time crocheting from a pattern, so yeah, the awkwardness is real. Next steps, skip 1 chain, chain 1, and then double crochet in the next chain. Basically it's repeating this step until the end of the row. Skip 1 chain, chain 1, double crochet into the next chain. So when you get to the end of that row, you turn your work around and row 2 begins with chaining 4. And then you skip the space, that's your chain space. That hole there, you don't go into that hole, you don't go into that hole, you go into the double crochet that you created there, that double crochet. You go into there, baby, there. In. Chained 4, now yarn over and double crochet into that next double crochet. Now you chain 1 and you go into the next double crochet and then you repeat to the last chain. So then when you reach the last chain, you double crochet into that turning chain and then you turn your work. So this is basically the pattern that you repeat 79 times until there are a total of 81 chain 1 spaces vertically. This is how you make your rectangle. So this is what it looks like when I'm round about at row 41, so kind of halfway there. Okay, now that my rectangle is done, I fold it lengthwise and I'm going to sew a side seam using mattress stitch until there are a certain number of chain 1 spaces forming my armhole. Please refer to the pattern for directions here. I have chosen to make the armholes bigger for me, for my arms, and so I counted more than the required 26 chain 1 spaces, but I just made sure that I did it the same for both sides, and I guess that's how you can adjust it to your measurements. Okay, so the sleeves are worked in the round. Don't turn at the end of each round. With the right side of the sweater facing, attach your main color in your newly created seam at the underarm. Then round 1 begins. You chain 4, I'll get there eventually. Then you skip the first chain and you double crochet into the next double crochet, just as you've done before with the pattern, same pattern as you used for your rectangle. Then after you've double crocheted into that double crochet, you skip the next chain, you chain 1 and you repeat. Double crochet in the next double crochet, skip the next chain, chain 1 till you get to the end of that first round. When you get to the end of your first round, you slip the stitches to the third chain from the beginning of that round to join. And then you repeat this round 18 more times until there are a total of 19 chain 1 spaces in the length of the sleeve. I added more because I wanted a longer sleeve, so I think I did about 25 more times. So once you get to the end of however long you wanted your sleeves, you fasten off and then you attach your contrasting color or alternative color in any of the chain 1 spaces around the sleeve. Now that you've attached your color, you chain 1 and then you single crochet in the same space. Next, you'll single crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces around the sleeve. And at the end, you'll slip stitch to the first single crochet to join. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I made a mistake here. I was supposed to just go into the space, like into the little hole, but I chose to go into the chain above the space, the middle chain above the space. I reckon it still turned out okay, so this is beginner. Okay, I'm a beginner. Don't come at me in the comments. So then I go straight into the first single crochet to join, and I begin round 2, which is chain 1 and then single crochet into each of the single crochets to the end of the round. And there we have it. The first main part of the jumper is now done. We'll move on to the collar next. Right, now that you have all your chains, you start your row 1. Skip first 3 chains, and then you double crochet into each chain right all the way to the end of the row. So what you need to know is that the collar is worked in double crochet through the back loop only, which is exactly like double crochet, but you work the stitches through only the back loop of the double crochet from the previous row, which I'm showing you there now. So you continue to double crochet in the back loop only in each of the double crochets right to the end. You double crochet in the turning chain and then you turn. Okay, so I did another boo-boo here. I chained 3 first and then I turned my work. I don't think it matters. It didn't matter to me. But you're supposed to turn the work and then chain 3, and you're starting essentially row 2 all over again. And you repeat this row 2 for 160 times in total, for a total of 162 rows. So I'm just showing you here how wonky this collar of mine, the first attempt, looked, because I wasn't careful to get into the same turning chain stitch every time. So I had to change it all and start fresh. Right, and once the collar is finished, to seam the collar, you basically seam the foundation row and the last row of the collar together using mattress stitch. So just to share my method here, I made the collar slightly smaller or shorter than the pattern required, because I wanted it to pull the shrug in a little bit more, because it was quite wide and loose without the collar, and I thought I wanted it to pull in a little bit tighter, so I made it shorter so that it can pull it in, if you know what I mean. And so this is how I decided to attach the collar to the shrug. So that's it, guys. That's the end of my first crochet project. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was helpful and that you would consider doing this project.